recently made a video about buying an Alexa Mini LF, and I wanted to address the idea of gear on YouTube and buying gear as a creator. Gear on YouTube has this idea that like we buy a whole bunch of gear, we sell it, we flip it, we buy more gear, and people at home feel as though they're missing out on something. For what I'm trying to do with that channel, I want to make sure that individuals do not feel that way. The context for me buying cameras and me, making this massive shift is a business decision, and it's very calculated. So today I want to bring you all into my spreadsheet so you can kind of see how that decision making works. A little backstory: I've been at this for over 14 years, and in those 14 years I've learned a lot. I've gone from Canon T2i to 7D to T3i to 5D to 6D to 1DX Mark II, original pocket, Blackmagic pocket, Ursa, Blackmagic 6K, Blackmagic 4K, 6K, and then the Reds, and then Sony's and all the things. But the important thing is I've been at this for a very long time. I'm not a college student. I'm in my mid-30s. I've gotten a lot of opportunities to shoot some amazing things, but I've also been working for a very long time. I say that because there's this assumption that like when people on YouTube buy cameras, it's like the wow effect, right? And my camera purchase was very methodical and it was very strategic. So I just wanted to sort of bring y'all into my process and bring you into my spreadsheet so that you can kind of see, how that goes down. So this is my spreadsheet. This is a simplified version. This is the version that, this is the original version. And this is the version that, I simplified for this video. So off rip, here are the Red cameras. These were all sold. The FX9s, the FX3, and then these are the Burano and the Alexa Mini. So the plan was initially to sell my Reds and upgrade the Red camera. Now the issue with that was that when I originally bought my Monstro, I was saving up for a set of Vista Primes. And I decided to buy a Monstro because they went on sale, but then they dropped the V-Raptor and the Monstro lost all its drive, right? Immediately. So you also have to think about like what that looks like in your market. And in my market, it initially went from like, those old DSMC2 Reds to immediately switching to DSMC3. So a lot of the old like Red stuff started to not be asked for because like the Komodos and the Raptor just kind of took over, right? So it ended up being a thing where the end of life, through YM Cinema, one of those. They made an article talking about the end of Red, and within days, all these things lost their value. And when the Komodo X came out, the Komodo also became an end of life camera. And I had a decision to make because initially the plan was just to sell and upgrade. But if I did it again, I was afraid the same thing was gonna happen. But then also, I originally, shot with my friends Amira, and I was like, man, this camera is amazing. I would love to go RA, but I really just want a mini. And, the issue with Red is they give you so much that, the price of a Monstro and the price of a Mini were the same. So I went with a Monstro. But now I'm at the same crossroads, but I was saving up for a set of Blackwings, and I had to make another decision, right? So I took these cameras here, and I put that into the Alexa Mini. And then the FX9s, I was gonna keep. The issue is the FX9 does not shoot dual card. So I'm on this dock now, and we're on FX6s, and that FX6 shoots dual card. I can get 1 terabyte cards in there, and the XQD cards, they don't go that high, right? So these limitations kind of put me in a position to say, well, I can like at least break even if I can, and get a new camera. So I decided to take these FX9s, put this towards a Burano, and then take the FX3. And at the time, there was a deal for the Blackmagic 6Ks. So I bought a 2-camera package for like $38 or something like that. So I took this camera and turned it into 2 cameras. I took these 2 cameras, put it towards this camera, took these cameras, and put it towards that camera, right? But the initial plan was to just like upgrade. Essentially, I just wanted to upgrade what I had. And I'm not somebody that, wants to buy something because other people have it. I think for me, like, I love how Ari renders skin tones. I love how Ari renders mixed lighting. I love how Ari renders color, like colored light. But you could do that with a Red. You can do that with a Sony. But I also was ready to spend the money on another Red and be in that same position. And I did not want to be in that same position that I was in years ago. So I made a decision to, buy, or I think for the Alexa, I put up like 20 and then I financed, and then the Burano, I put 7 down and then I financed. And I think the most important thing, was that there was a process for this, right? I didn't wake up one morning and say, oh, I'm gonna get a camera and then I'm gonna make a video on YouTube. I took some time, I made a business decision, and so far, the Burano has been the one that's getting the work. The Alexa Mini is not. It's been somewhat dry on my end for the last few weeks. So right after I got my Alexa. But at the end of the year, we'll see. So, here's where I'm at now. The FX6s are, the workhorses, the FX3s, everything is in the green. But it's important to have a plan, right? I'm making this video so that whoever's watching this, can make a plan when it comes to your financial decisions with gear. Gear is great, but we also have to make the gear work for us, right? Filmmaking is not about buying a whole bunch of equipment and pointing a camera, right? It's about telling stories. But also, when you're telling those stories, you don't want your gear to hinder what you're doing. One thing I did deal with working with the Reds is that my nucleus would overvolt the camera and it'd shut off. And with the Alexa, it'll just shut off the monitor and the nucleus. Not a deal breaker for the Red or anything, but there are a lot of decisions that made me move on from the Red and from other platforms. So yeah, that is my process. I go off the numbers. I go off what's coming in. I look at, the past, the track record. The better financial decision out of these cameras is the Burano, right? The Alexa is something that is more of a experiment and a risk. But I'd rather take the risk now than to wait and say I shoulda, woulda, coulda. And I feel like if I would have went the V-Raptor route with them dropping a new V-Raptor already, I would have been on that same plane. So hopefully I'll learn something. Thank you all for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Comment down below. What is your cameras doing for you now? You know, are you in the negative? Are you in the positive? Are you renting it? Are you not? I want to know. Anyway, I will see you all in the next one. Peace.